About myself. I'm trying to forget who myself is. So I can't really speak about myself. No, that's a little too Indian sounding. But no, generally, I mean, I moved here in New York when I think about 18, 19 years ago. I stopped counting a long time ago because I just want time to do its own thing. Yeah, just been playing jazz, putting out records as the best I can, you know. And I'm very much into details, and that's the kind of writing I do and the kind of playing I do, and hopefully it comes out naturally and organically. That's very important as well for me. I don't know if I did make it. I don't know what the definition of making it. Well, yeah, living in. I played in my wife's band for the last 8 years, and that's not jazz. So that's that's Indian-based music. It's not Indian classical, but it utilizes Indian classical as well. But so it's more in the world music circuit. So that really helps me to stay afloat because we both bring home the money into the same family. And so with jazz, you teach, you do camps, you play little gigs, you play big gigs, you play colleges. I did come to Manhattan and finish at Manhattan School of Music. So I did 2 more years there. So I did sort of the 4.5, 5-year program because of the transferring thing. So I did finish. But I didn't want to get my graduate degree after that, the master's, which, they were saying, yeah, come, we'll give you money, et cetera, et cetera. I just had it, I needed to be on the streets and see the reality of this situation that I'm getting into. And right after graduation, I went to India for a couple months and studied, and it was, in that sense, it was really fine-tuning of what my vision was going to be, which is combining sort of this hybrid effect of Indian music and jazz as well as you can. I mean, they are two very different kinds of streams of music, but I think there are elements, if you really dig deep enough, that that can be utilized in a great fashion. So. Yeah. Well, I have a multitude of projects, so they all have their own thing, so it's really hard to say which one is the best and this and that. But I think, to answer your question, I think Snake Charmer, which we played at your festival at the Brno years ago, that was an organ trio with my wife, Kiran Alawalia, singing Indian music, or singing my music, but Indian improvisation. So when you put that sort of together, I think that Snake Charmer group and that first record called Snake Charmer, that came out in 2004 or something like that. That was sort of like, okay, I finally did something that was, I guess, significantly Indian and jazz. Before that, there was just little elements of this, but now it's like, I kind of thought of it as Indian and jazz, and after that, it just sort of, the rest of the records, I think I did 5 records after that, with different bands, one with that band and then more bands. Those records maybe aren't as overtly Indian sounding. There's one called Things to Come, which also has my wife singing, and Vijay Iyer and Rudresh Mahantapa and Dan Weiss and Johannes Weidmuller. Great bunch of guys, and they all know Indian music pretty darn well, and so that was, I think, even another level. But a lot of my records now, I don't really, I just let it happen. I don't really, like, I don't have an agenda of thinking, okay, I want to do this Indian thing anymore. I think that happened with Snake Charmer, and after that it just sort of panned out the way it panned out. Yeah, this new record. Well, this is my first. It's called Continuous Beat. Came out in 2012. It's my first trio record, which you know, trio and jazz. There's something synonymous about it. I mean, trio is almost an ideal situation for a jazz musician to express, you know, and all the members in the band, not just the leader. You know, it's sort of like the drummer, the bass, whoever's in the trio, whatever instrumentation. So I really wanted to take advantage of that, and so I did this trio record. But I also wanted to think outside the box a little bit by essentially, you know, using sounds that aren't affiliated with guitar. So you do have the warm trio guitar sound, and you know that sort of warm, beautiful, somewhat reverby sound, which we all love. You know, it's been like, it's overused, but hopefully it's a little individual in everybody's case. But then you also had some pedals, some effects that I manipulated to create my own sounds. And what I did is I manipulated those at the same time I was composing. So this is the key right there. It wasn't an afterthought. It wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna compose this tune, I like the tune, now let's see what I can do with these pedals. No, because then I wouldn't have composed those particular tunes. So this is the beauty of it. I manipulated, I said, oh, man, I like this sound, let me turn this up, let me turn, you know, a different harmonizer on, let me do, and then boom, there it was, like, oh, I really like that. And it gave me a lot of character immediately on certain things, like a tune called Divided Attention. You know, I wouldn't have ever written that without, yeah. And so I started doing it, I was like, oh boy, I like that. And then from there I took it and expanded it, and it became a tune. I wanted the melodies to be doubled with this effect. So it remains a trio, but it gives you the sort of an illusion that there's like a horn player or something playing the melody with you. Because that's sometimes what I miss with trios, you know. By the middle of the record, I'm kind of already tired of the same sound. Not only guitar, but any trio. It's like, oh, man, I wish that something would happen. So I wanted at least the melodies to be doubled, so it like gives this illusion of like, okay, there's a horn player there or something, and then boom, there's a guitar trio. Like then the solos are all based on regular sort of guitar sounds that I do, overdrive or clean or whatever, you know. And people are going to hear essentially what's on the record, but of course different versions. And we'll have guest David Binney on saxophone, which now becomes sort of like, it will sound like a horn section during the melodies with me playing and him, you know. I don't know why exactly I wanted a horn player on the trio tour, but I think for Europe, I felt like it would be nice to stretch out, like, you know, I'd like to comp more and on the guitar and see where he goes and how the trio responds to him, and it will be fun either way. If it was just a trio, it would be great. But just extra little, you know, element there.